Čau, tady DeeThane a já vás vítám u takového speciálního videa, protože se mi spojily dvě věci, které nade vše miluji. Spojilo se mi hraní her a hraní basketbalu v jedno. Letěl jsem do Londýna na NBA 2K19 preview party, kde jsem si udělal interview s Robem Johnsonem, no a celá akce tak se konala na NBA HQ, takže jsem strávil den na naprosto fantastickém místě, o kterém jsem snil už jako malé dítě. Chtěl bych poděkovat českému distributorovi jménem Cenega a chtěl bych samozřejmě poděkovat 2K, thank you 2K, appreciate it. No a pro vás užijte si video, ale ještě předtím, tak se musíte podívat na moji cestu na letiště a samotný let.
This is Shonzy Beats Production.
Ahoj guys, teď když už máme za sebou to nedůležitý a důležitý, tak je mi ctí vás pozdravit tady z mého pokoje ve Victory House z Londýna, protože každou chvíli za 13 minut tak máme sraz na recepci už přímo s lidma z 2K a vyrážíme směr konference. Nemůžu se dočkat, doufám, že si tohle video užijete, já tyhle věci normálně nedělám a je to velmi zvláštní takhle mluvit do kamery, avšak doufám, že se vám to bude líbit a doufám, že to bude stát za to. NBA 2K19 preview, baby.
Purchase your beats today at www.shonzabits.com.
And let's go right onto it. So, my first question is kind of weird, but my viewers were wondering, are you maybe thinking about some VR aspect onto the NBA 2K, maybe later or something?
Not as right now. I mean, we kind of experimented with it a couple years ago, but we still haven't really figured out a way to create the experience that we want to create in VR.
Mm.
And I think that when we do, we obviously have always tried to be right at the forefront of all tech. When we figure it out, or either that or when it becomes more widespread than it currently is, then we'll definitely have something.
So there is a chance that I will be
NBA
NBA player. Actually.
we try, but it's got to be the right experience. You can't put technology ahead of the gameplay experience, and that's where we've always been.
Yeah, that's true. Fine. When you were talking about the creating our own player, you were talking about all kind of different shapes and size. You didn't mention scan face once. Is this a still future?
It's in the companion application.
So it's the same as the last year.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Because that was awesome. Like I created my face.
Yep, that's available now.
It's already available. Right?
Yeah, you can download it today.
Fine. Another question, it's kind of interesting because I know how long the NBA season is, but in the game sometimes there were some dual places between the games, like just a few games when the season starts, it were cutscenes and everything, and there was some empty space, a lot of games like just in a row, but nothing were happening like in the game, like outside the game. If I'm.
Are you saying about my career?
Yeah, I'm saying about my career. So we were talking about if there is maybe options later when you can choose the season will be a little bit shorter, like less games, but with the same content. Is there an option, something about it?
No, what you'll find about the story this year is that a lot of it plays out before you actually get to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, the other parts like endorsements and things like that, when you interact with your agent and things like that stuff happens more throughout the NBA season. So you have to look at it as two different things. On one, there's a narrative, and the narrative is more about you're building your way back to the NBA, and that's kind of the bulk of the main storyline. And then the rest of the scenes are all just based on your achievements in the NBA as you move forward.
So we can say that there are two stories right now, before the NBA and in the NBA.
No, there's really one story, but but there are scenes for you as you're playing in the NBA to commemorate any time that you do well, or any time that a company gives you an endorsement or things like that. So you have all those scenes, but they are not part of what that main way back storyline will be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's actually really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
What we wanted to make sure was that you were able to interact with the entire storyline as quickly as possible, because there's always, we know that users play My Career. A lot of times, some people never even get to the end of the story, because once they get their guy to a certain level, they're in the park or in the neighborhood.
Oh,
right. Does that make sense? So they're just using
the main story to level up their players.
To level up their players. Yeah. So we wanted them to engage in the entire story as quickly as they could, so that then if they chose to move on, they wouldn't have missed anything.
Yeah, the NBA 2K18 is the first NBA that I did not finish the playoffs.
Yeah.
But not because I went to my park, but because I lost to the Golden State Warriors. as a Milwaukee Bucks player. Yeah, cool. So now the questions from the viewers. Someone asked me who and how does the ratings for the new players, like for Ben Simmons and stuff, the players like that. Like, do you analyze the real NBA and you take from that? Because it's really hard to put ratings from real players to the game.
We analyze the stats as they play. You're talking about incoming players, or you're talking about players that are already there?
Well, we can talk about all the players.
So we have a team that sits there and goes through all the ratings, but it starts off based on statistics. It's just plain based on statistics, and then we have to make sure that players fall into statistical categories. So one of the things that big discussions in the office always are like, hey, who's the top 5 small forwards in the league, or and then once you come to a consensus, then your ratings also have to reflect that. So just because, let's say for example, let's say we talked about James Harden. Just because James Harden is amazing at, we know that he has some flaws, right? But at the same time, he's one of the best players in the NBA.
That's true.
So how do you ensure that his overall rating puts him where he's supposed to be, but we still reflect the flaws that he has? So there's a lot of work in order to get things to feel that way. But it all starts based on their performance, their achievements. So meaning their stats, their achievements. All of those things are the first line of defense. And then the second part is trying to slot them where they're.
Okay, so the next question is about the EuroLeague, because we got some players in EuroLeague, more than in the NBA. Is there something upcoming?
No, not at this particular point in time. Obviously you see how big the game is to begin with. So our efforts have gone into areas that we see really high usage in, and that's obviously the neighborhood and My Career are like right at the front, and my team is very, very close right behind those. So although we enjoyed the time when we had the EuroLeague in there, the amount of work to do it the right way, the way that we want to do it, in relation to the usage at the end, it's kind of made it where it's kind of a secondary priority for us right now. Hopefully even for me, because you might know the history that I grew up over here. So I actually enjoy the idea of European basketball, but I also understand from our side, how hard it is to deliver that and deliver the product that we're currently delivering as well.
Okay, fine. And the last question is, I have to ask this because it was one of the most upvoted question on my question. What should I ask? What was the most played team in NBA 2K18?
The Warriors. You know, because they're easy.
That's not.
That's it. Because they're easy.
That's not surprising. Okay, that's it.
It's always the best team in the league is always the one that everybody plays with.
And are you not a little bit scared that in the most ultimate team, in my team, I think it's called ultimate team, there is still going to be the same players against each other, maybe?
I think with the dynamicism of different cards and things like that I think it'll vary from game to game.
From
but
the
then
type
of course
of the gameplay.
Yeah, but then of course remember, my team also has historical guys, and historical guys, are pretty good.
Yeah.
So
They were. That's
yeah.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
so much.
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. We're gonna call timeout.
Yes, this one is the timeout. No, the first timeout of all the game.
Good game, man.
Good game.
Good game.